So welcome to all of you. This very first morning of the Frankfurt Book Fair, the very first event here at the Frankfurt studio today. And it's an enormous pleasure for us to introduce the White Ravens 2025 edition to you, this recommendation list. This is my colleague Oliver Ilan Schulz, who is an expert in French, our expert in French language, children's literature, and I'm Jochen Weber. I'm specialist in children's literature from Spain, Portugal, and Latin America. On behalf of the International Youth Library and all our colleagues who have selected the White Ravens 2025, we would like to present you a small selection of titles to show you this wide range of languages, countries represented in the White Ravens selection. The 2025 edition includes 2,000, as you see here, 2015 books in 49 languages.
215.
215 children's and young adult books in 49 languages from 63 countries. You see here the cover, which was designed and created by Norwegian illustrator Øyvind Thorsæter. And you can take this card afterwards. You can find the QR code to get access to the PDF catalog on our website and to the White Ravens database. And of course, you can come to our stand here in Hall 30 to meet us, to talk to us, and so on. These books are for readers age 1+ to age 15+. We have selected picture books, children's novels, poetry books, nonfiction, fairy tales, young adult fiction, and so on. And all these books have been selected from around 9,000 books the library has received over in the course of 1 year. So since time is running, we will start, and Olian will present the first books.
Yes.
To see what we have selected. And of course, we can't introduce to you 250 books, so we will see.
Hello, welcome. I'll start with 2 books about art. The first one is a non-fiction book. It's the Italian illustrator Pia Valentinis has created many outstanding picture books. Since 2013, she has been 6 times in our White Ravens selection. So in a way, it's time that she reveals the secret of her art and explains her approach to illustration. And that's what she does in Fara Figure. For Pia Valentinis, each illustration is the result of years of observing and countless sketches. Before starting a book, she develops a concept, designs a storyboard, and reflects on materials and techniques. These can produce, as you can see here, many different effects by the use of various pencils, pens, and colors. Images can also be created through collage or with old photographs. And so I put a quotation from the artist here. It is as if you are learning to write in different languages, but your hands already know so much and you have so much to say. This little book is sure to inspire readers from 8 years on to try out new and creative drawing and drawing techniques of their own. The second book about art is a picture book for children from 6 years on. The Indian author and artist Kripa penned a powerful poem to speak out against injustice. Each of the 11 verses addresses an important theme ranging from displacement to intolerance and exploitation. Kripa's own colorful college illustrations are complemented by selected works of temporary artists from India. The book clearly shows children how art can be an effective tool for activism. In fact, the last page shows the entire poem on one page. It ends, They try to silence me, but I'm resolute. Art is my voice. Oh, sorry, wrong direction. Okay, I continue with a teen novel from Germany. The book is called Fish Days or Fischtage in German. And the main character is Ella. She's 16 years old, and that's what she says. We did a translation from this. I don't know, can you read this? I read it anyway. So, rage. My first tantrum came at 13. While my classmates were all entering puberty, someone just loosened the screw inside my head instead. It looks to me like other people have a few different levels when it comes to rage, anger, aggression, not me. It's like some kind of rat trap, it's sprung inside me, and I become a glove puppet for something super strong, super hot, that gets into me and immediately blows its lid. When I was 13, my mom would hold me every time. At 14, she tried to talk to me about it. And at 15, she gave up on me. Back then, when I literally couldn't breathe for rage, I always would run. Sounds stupid, but that's how it was. As I ran, the toxic rage in my blood would gradually evaporate. Or at least that's how I imagined it. Because when the rage comes over me, the big bad rage that scorches everything, then the blood in my veins turns to gasoline, an explosive fuel that sends me flying. Last year, I messed up my leg, and since then, no more running. We broke into the park at night and rode the roundabout in the children's playground, drunk, and I came flying off and boom, leg broken in multiple places. At home, when I realized I wasn't going to be able to do my best coping move anymore, I asked the surgeon several times about running, and she just shrugged and said, "It's tough, but no way." I had a minor breakdown. And all my charming parents could say was, "Well, Ella, shit happens, c'est la vie," and other lame cliches. So that's the end of the quotation. Ella comes from a dysfunctional family. Her mother is a neurotic gallery owner and her father is a weed-smoking actor. When Ella's youngest brother Louis goes missing, the parents are hardly bothered. Elsa sets out to find him. The German musician Charlotte Brandy tells a raw and poignant story. With Ella, she creates a dazzling narrator who is sensitive and empathetic behind her prickly facade. Yes.
And from Germany, we moved to Latin America, to Brazil. Exactly. So it's a picture book. O Homem, o Rio e a Caixa, The Man, the River, and the Chest, or the Box. And it's fantastic picture books created by Anabela Lopez. It was an Argentinian-born artist, and it tells a fairy tale story about a man who falls in love passionately with a river. And because the river returns this love, they live together in close harmony. So it's like a fairy tale with a happy ending, but it's not a happy ending. It says everything was perfect, but one day the man becomes tormented by the fear of losing the beloved river, and so he locks the river into a chest, into a box, and there's no escape. And so the river pleads and struggles, but there's no escape. And at the end, the river dries up. And the man is so sad that he dies of shame and grief. So it's a very sad story. But from the very last tear of the man, a new river is born. So it's a kind of happy ending. It's about, it's a very sad story, but comforting at the end. And this book leaves a very strong impact. It's very poetic. It has a very poetic text, a compelling text. It's a wise story about love, about passion, about freedom, of course, about possession, control, and the taming and destruction of nature by the humans. And told in a very originally way. You can see here the pictures, the images, very abstract in part, very expressive, mainly color and lines. And they very well represent the changing moods of the story and the intense feeling of the two protagonists. And there's a wide range of techniques, also collage, colored pencils, acrylics, monotype, and watercolor. And it's interesting because the artist tells that to show this fluidity of the river and the freedom and this, she used her left hand to draw the river so that it was uncontrolled, she says. And so this has this the moving of the river in the picture. So it's an interesting book that has been awarded several times by now. So it's a great book from Brazil. And the other one, since the Philippines is a guest of honor in this year's Frankfurt Children's Book Fair. It's a book from the Philippines. It's a story. It tells about Oke. Oke takes a journey to the region of central Luzon to meet the guardian spirits of the mountains Ararat, Makiling, and Banahaw. And however, this journey to the other world, the kind of journey to the other world, is marked by distortion of time. Because when he returns from the mountains, 180 years have gone by. The gods have departed due to human greed, and Oke becomes the guardian of Mount Ararat. So this story also relies or focuses on the protection of nature. It also promotes a sense of shared Philippine cultural heritage, and it is very delicate illustrations to show this mystical world of between the nature and the enchanted realm of the gods. And the story is an adaptation of a story told by Severino Reyes. It's a folk tale, and he published a book in 1925, so 100 years ago. It's a very important book in the Philippines called Grandma Basyang's Stories. In Christine Belling, the author made several retellings from stories from this book, and they appear as books, as comics, as TV shows, and even films. And so it's a very interesting story. As you know, Philippine children's literature has not been very present on the international stage by now. And so we hope that from this book fair and maybe with some books, they can come to other countries. So.
Okay. So the Ukrainian authors and illustrators Romana Romanishin and Andrei Leziv are working together as Art Studio Agravka. Their new non-fiction book, I tried to, The Pivslova, so in English that says, Do You Read Me?, is about understanding each other. And we thought nothing seems more important these days. And interaction begins with communication. So this splendid book demonstrates a wide variety of ways how communication can take place. The book broadens and deepens our perspective on how we connect with one another. In addition, it's highly aesthetic, concise, and engaging. The first part of the book presents dialogues between people, animals, and plants, while the following section explores the nature of these conversations. Are they spoken words, sign language, body language, clothing, or Morse code? The authors provide their readers many fantastic aha moments, and in the end, it becomes clear that in one way or another, everything is communication.
The next book is from Turkey, called Mokadiko. It's a very original book for readers age 5+. It's inspired by a poem written by Zeynep Göylu, one of the authors. And it is a story about a child called Kuzgun, Kuzgun means raven in Turkish. And in Turkish culture, ravens are often associated with wisdom and the ability to see beyond the ordinary. And this boy, one morning, wakes up and he finds a word in his mouth. It's the word mokadiko. That doesn't mean anything in Turkish. It's a very unfamiliar word that doesn't exist in Turkish. What does it mean? So the protagonist wonders, what does it mean and why has it entered his mind? So the boy speaks the word aloud, mokadiko, and a bird and a tree and a dog respond to him. So the boy is very puzzled, so what is happening to him? And he wants to get rid of this seemingly meaningless word, mokadiko. And so he writes the word on a paper airplane and he throws it out of the window, but mokadiko returns to him. So this is a very beautiful, inspiring book about the magic of words, the magic of language, the endless possibilities of language, creativity, and of course imagination. And it's also about finding a child's own voice and own words. And so the child learns that the unfamiliar and the unexpected may harbor something new and enriching. And it was illustrated by Flemish artist Lies van Gasse. And it's beautiful. We only have the cover here. And she explored the space between imagination and reality. She used a lot of typography, handwriting. So it's a really beautiful Turkish children's book. Hanno, we have one picture.
Yeah, we have one picture.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay, now let's see a picture book from France. Absurd, funny, and wise. These words aptly describe Le Gros Livre, or the Big Book in English, by Delphine Perret. This playfully philosophical book delights in turning conventional thinking upside down. Minimalist black and white illustrations and laconic texts from short comic strips full of subtle humor. Is a rotten apple useless? Oh, come on, retorts a magnificent tree that has grown from the rejected fruit. The stories show many ways to be happy. A pebble and a cat are both perfect for children because the animal can play, but the stone cannot die. This book offers big encouragement for finding your own way in a world full of supposed superlatives. We were in for a surprise when we discovered that in this year's White Ravens list, two of our selected books bring together three topics: the serious subject of dementia, grandmothers, and cats. So the first one is the picture book Mao Fangzi by Yan and Zue from Taiwan. Excuse me for mispronouncing the names. So Granny detests cats, but the strays persistently sneak into her house and gradually take over her everyday task when she begins to lose her memory. After she forgets that she hates cats, they take complete control and give her a sense of security and happiness. At the end, readers learn that Granny's late husband died in a car accident while feeding the stray cats. But he had repeatedly begged them to take care of his demented wife. In this book, large format paintings in rich colors alternate with delicate comic panels. Children will enjoy discovering hidden objects and camouflaged cats. And adults will be delighted by the nostalgic views of traditional Taiwanese and Japanese houses. So the second book that has these topics, so dementia, grandma, and cat, is a children's novel from Slovenia. From the perspective of the cat Duke Leopold, aka Poldi, We hear how the grandma of a family is placed in a care home. Thanks to the clever focalization on Poldi, however, the author Tina Arnus Pupis manages to bring this serious topic on an incredibly funny and entertaining story. The Wisdom of the Ducal Cat. Here you go.
So the second young adult fiction, young adult novel we present today is from Ireland. It's a very moving story, very uncommon tale. The novel tells the story of Jay, and Jay, after a night out at a club with his boyfriend, he wakes up in a park, bloody, confused, with no memory of, and he wonders how he ended up there. There are only fragments returning to his mind, so music, alcohol, a party, but he doesn't really bring them together. But the young teen feels violated and broken and is haunted by nightmares afterwards. And the police does not find any hard evidence of who assaulted him. And so Jay becomes obsessed with searching for his attackers himself and taking revenge. And it's a very hard process to go through it, to digest all what happened. And Jay slowly begins to organize his memories. And so the road to healing is very painful, but speaking about what happened to him becomes like an act of self-liberation from this nightmare. And this novel is inspired by a combination of personal experiences and those of close friends. And so award-winning author Christopher George Moore has crafted it's a really heartbreaking verse novel. So it's a verse novel about sex trafficking and sexual abuse. It's shocking and long-lasting aftermath for the victims. So it consists in very short chapters, like poems. You can see it on the next page. So there are 3 pages from the book. And I just will read. It's told in verses, and these short chapters, this form supports the depiction of Jay's fragmented memory. So it very well fits together the form and the content of this book and this emotional state. So I will read the first one, Hollow. Hollow. I don't remember anything from that night. I don't remember how I got the bruises down my thighs. I don't remember how I woke up there, wet grass splayed around me. I don't remember when they scooped out all of me from this hollow husk of a body. And the last book we will present to you today is from Finland, but in Swedish, called Chop Chop. Beautiful, entertaining picture book. It's about future and the highly automated world in which robots have taken over the task of humans. So it's a very modern story. And there's a chief of a parcel dispatching center introduces the newest co-worker, a small robot called Chop Chop. Chop Chop does many different jobs, delivering parcels, chopping down trees, cutting hair, working on conveyor belts in a chicken factory, looking after children, clearing mines, all under the pressure of constant orders. Hurry up, Chop Chop. And Chop Chop doesn't sleep, doesn't eat, doesn't take a break. Nevertheless, it's not enough, like in the human world. And when a new, more efficient robot arrives, Chop Chop is replaced and given new tasks. And he tries this and that, and he never stay on for long. So there's an apocalyptic twist. Automation and new robots lead to an escalation. War breaks out, Chop Chop is sent to the battlefield, and it ends very bad for everybody, for the machines, for the robots, and the humans. So, but still, this is a tongue-in-cheek story. The illustrations are full of humor without downplaying the serious message of this story. So it's a really highlight in this year's selection, like all the other books. So we hope that you have got a small glimpse into this wider range of titles. So there have been 12 books from 2015 books. You can find all the reviews in the catalog or on our website. All books will be on display next year at the Bologna Children's Book Fair at our booth there, like every year. If you have any questions, we will be there. If you would like to come to our stand, it's in booth hall 3H 128. So thank you very much for joining us today. Have a very good book fair, and thank you very much to all publishers.
Thank you
For sending your books to the International Youth Library. Thank you.